Hi, this is Dr. Joanny Liu, founder of Extraordinary Sports Medicine and best-selling author of Heal Your Concussion, How to Quickly and Effectively Get Back in Your Game, and welcome to this week's Facebook Live with me. And just wanted to let you know that, wow, I'm so excited about my crowdfunding adventure here. Hope for Millions with brain injury, because this is so important. It's about time that people got the treatment that they need, because the truth of the matter is when I was doing my research proposal, I found out that I had to do a literature review. So I had to dive into something like PubMed, and lo and behold, you enter the word concussion, and what you get is something like 4,700 articles about it. So obviously I had to narrow it down, because I was interested in finding out how much treatment was actually being done, okay? How much research there was. And anecdotally, I get a feeling that there really isn't. And when I added the word treatment to the word concussion, I got something under 300 entries, and when I looked through every single one of these and examined what each one of these things were doing, hi Tammy, and thank you so much for sharing. I found out that there were only 13 articles out of the almost 4,700 articles that were even addressing treatment. So most of the research out there is trying to understand concussions and understand the repercussions. But, they're doing the wrong thing again. They're examining the disease instead of looking for solutions. Well, I am solution-oriented. And that may be because of my engineering training from a former life. I don't know. But I'm here on this earth to help solve problems, to look at possibilities. This is what engineers do, because we don't, we're here to create for people, okay? Everything that you see here in life, in petrochemicals, plastics, wood products, things have been touched by engineers for one reason or another at some time during their development. Maybe not so much now. Hello, Nigel. How are you? Maybe not so much now, but, well, in things like housing. But definitely in your everyday lives, things have been created because somebody thought of it, and they created it, and they were solving a problem, and they were looking at possibilities. So we got to approach our health in the same way. Health is about possibilities. Health is about overcoming the things that are happening to us that we do not like. And concussions is definitely one of those things that people do not like. Because the thing is what do we do with our brains every day? Everything, okay? So this is what the answer I get from most people. We cannot go without our brains, okay? We need our brains to be working at top level, and this is why this research campaign is so important. So just go to GoFundMe.com and search for Hope for Millions with brain injury, and look at each one of the reward levels. There's one for every budget, so just go for it, okay? We got to help each other to finally have a comprehensive solution. Okay, now I wanted to talk about conventional wisdom and why you have to avoid it, okay? Because it's definitely leading you down the wrong path. The problem with today's conventional wisdom is because it's not based on truths, okay? So how many of you ever question the things that modern researchers come up with, okay? Even such as most of it has a lot to do with our dietary habits, okay? And back in the 1950s, there was this research project that said that all fats were bad for us, okay? And then it was tempered in 1970 that only saturated fats were bad for us. And then people like, or organizations like the American Heart Association, they were noticing that heart disease rates were going up, and they didn't know why. So when they came upon this research, they jumped on it right away, and the rest is history, because now we have a huge industry that encourages the use of anti-cholesterol medicines. I won't even, well, okay, drugs. I won't even call it medicine, okay? It's not medicine if it doesn't actually help you to solve a problem now, okay? And then you're supposed to come off it. That's what medicine's supposed to be, really supposed to be. You're not supposed to be on medication for the rest of your life, okay? Medicine is supposed to help you. So the thing is that, we have this billion-dollar industry selling Lipitor, and they're using it for all kinds of different reasons, and they're using it on people with heart disease that don't even have any clogged arteries. So it has nothing to do with cholesterol, okay? So 50% of people with heart disease do not have clogged arteries. So think about that. So that's conventional wisdom to tell you that clogged arteries are the cause of heart disease. And then they have their solutions. So are you questioning any of this? The other thing is as simple as drinking 8 glasses of water every day. Well, the thing is that some people, a lot of people out there actually, have figured, okay, if water is good for me and my body is made up of, what, 75% water, then even more water must be really good. So instead of 8 glasses of water, some people are trying to drink 8 liters of water every day. And from a Chinese medicine point of view, this is a very bad thing, okay? Because water is cold. So it will cool the body, okay? That's the reason why we drink water. It quenches our thirst and it cools us when we need it. But when we don't need it, that's when it does damage. Okay? So it actually uses up quite a bit of our energy in our body to warm up all this cold water. Okay? And it's energy that we could be using elsewhere. So it depletes energy, and in our case, in Chinese medicine, we call it yang. So yang is warm energy. Okay? And we need it in order to maintain our vitality and our activity levels, okay? So this has a lot to do with our metabolism. And if our body is too cold, then we become yang deficient, okay? But we become yin excessive, okay? So yin is supposed to be cooling. But if we become too cool, then we have real problems, other problems. So it affects it could affect our reproduction. It definitely affects our metabolism. You know, so it works both ways. And we're definitely out of balance. But the thing is that we have to decide on an individual level just how thirsty we really are, and not just drink water just for the sake of it. Okay, it's so important not to take all this advice without questioning it. Okay, you've got to question it. And the thing is that the research findings are often contradictory. You know, one day chocolate is really good for you. You know, soya for some time was really good for you. Let's see, what else? Oh yeah, even coffee was really good for you. You know, I mean, those are just 3 examples, okay? And then the year later or months later, another research group will find out that will tell you the opposite. Well, okay, the problem with each one of these examples I just told you about is that they are all one-size-fits-all conclusions. I was going to say solutions, but they're not. Okay? They are all size-fits-all conclusions. And the thing is that it doesn't fit all of us because we are all very different. And so in the case of concussions, there are medical authorities that are saying, yes, we recognize that a concussion is different for everyone. However, what do? 99% of them, you know, whether you're general practitioners or neurologists, are still saying the same thing. The first thing that you do, they're telling you, is to cocoon. So cocooning is 5 to 7 days of complete, total cognitive and physical rest. Okay, so they're telling you to do nothing and possibly even in a dark room. Do nothing. Avoid all activity. Stop thinking. Stop, physical activity. Do nothing for 5 to 7 days, and you'll be great. Because they think that the brain needs rest. Well, the thing is, yes, I guess you can shut down the body like that. You can lay in bed for that long, but I still say, for the majority of people, that would be almost nearly impossible to do absolutely nothing physically. And does the brain really ever shut down? Does your mind ever shut down? Okay, now the brain and the mind are two different things. The mind does lead the brain, and the body for that matter. So can you really truly stop thinking? I'm sure some of you have tried because, you're probably trying to meditate. And some of you have had issues with doing that when you're healthy. So how are you going to do that when you're not healthy? Okay? The thing is, you cannot shut down the mind. It's really difficult if you hadn't had the upteen decades of training like Buddhist monks have, okay? Because it's kind of interesting how they talk about the neurological effects of meditation on the brain when they examine, they do their examinations with Buddhist monks who have a totally and completely different outlook on life, a different lifestyle than from ordinary people like you and me, okay? Because that's why there's a disconnect there. Those people are trained and they practice it every single day for hours on end. This is a dedication, okay? We are not as dedicated to that. We are dedicated to doing other things in our lives. So that's why you have to start questioning conventional wisdom. You have to start understanding that you as an individual do not fit into that square peg or that round peg that they've created. Because they base because they do a lot of statistical analysis on their research programs. I mean, I have to do it too because that's a requirement, okay? But the thing is that, so they will find probabilities, and so they will tell you statistically that 6 out of 10 times they're right, that sort of thing, right? Because how else would they tell you that 50% of the time this is going to work and 50% of the time this isn't going to work? To me, that's not medicine. The way we do things is so different from them because we only have a few different conditions to draw from. They're called patterns. So maybe we have under 40 of these patterns, that maybe not even that many, that people will show when they show up at my clinic or at the clinic of another doctor of Chinese medicine, okay? Only 40 of these, okay? Not the hundreds and maybe the thousands of mysterious medical conditions that people don't understand, okay? That are so-called rare. But I bet you if you were to bring all those people to a doctor of Chinese medicine, that we could tell you why this is happening to you, why this is happening to your kids, and that this is what can be done about it, okay? Because we only have a few patterns to pick from instead of infinite. So that's why we're so much more efficient. Okay? So, question conventional wisdom. Don't let it frighten you. But do look for solutions. Keep looking for solutions. And those solutions could be right here in front of you, right now. Okay? So, in closing, please donate to my crowdfunding campaign to find those, well, I already have the comprehensive solutions. Now it's just to prove that we can make use of it effectively in an online brain training course, okay, for post-concussion syndrome. That's the reason for this research project. I already have the clinical proof that this works. Now we want to know if we can help improve the lives of people inexpensively with an online brain training course for PCS. So go to GoFundMe.com, Search for Hope for Millions with Brain Injury, and please do give people hope. This has everything to do with healing. There is no healing without hope. There is no healing without faith that something can be done. And each one of us in this type of brain training can develop the hope that is required in order to be well again. Because that is all that matters, how you feel. The conviction that you have that you will become well again. That ignoring all the other stuff is just noise. Because you alone, with guidance, can make yourself well again. With the right guidance. Okay? So I'll see you next week. And have a great day. Have a great week. Bye.